un hominem ex iure quiritium liberum esse volo.
Today you cease to be a slave and become a freed man. Now you are free, O Epictetus. With these words, my master Lucius Pedanius Clemens released me from slavery and gave me my liberty. They were the sweetest words I had ever heard in my life. And by Jupiter, I celebrated as the occasion deserved, by opening amphorae of our finest wine and drinking with my family, friends, and neighbors. And probably with a few strangers who gate-crashed the party as well. If there was ever a time in my life when eating or drinking to excess was justified, it was that day. I was generous with the wine, and that seemed fitting because my master had shown such generosity to me. Let me tell you my story. Although I was born a slave, the gods saw fit to make me a hard-working and lucky man. And they allowed me to live and work for my master Lucius Pedanius Clemens, the owner of extensive lands in Leticia, with fields of wheat, olive trees, and above all vineyards, which extended almost to the seashore. Every year, during the grape harvest, long trains of wagons drawn by oxen filled the roads of the estate, hauling heavy loads of grapes to the wine presses to make wine. I soon learned the secrets of the trade, and I worked so hard for so many years that my master, in accordance with custom and Roman law, granted me my freedom. Because to our great fortune, these lands of Hispania Tarraconense are governed by Roman law ever since the general Gnaeus Cornelius Scipio disembarked in Ampurias to attack the rear guard of the Carthaginian troops as they attempted to invade Rome during the Second Punic War. Once the enemies of Rome had been defeated, the power of the Republic spread rapidly through all Hispania. The different peoples that lived there gradually began to speak Latin rather than their own tongues, and over time they adopted our customs and laws. Many were granted Latin citizenship and later became citizens of Rome. As a result, new possibilities in life opened up for them. With the coming of the empire and its great conquests, not only could they trade with faraway lands and cities across the sea, but they also had the opportunity to take part in public affairs and political life in ways they had never been able to before. And what can I tell you about the cities? Not only do they have wide, sunlit squares with magnificent buildings, but also long, airy streets with shops, apartments, and houses on both sides, practical and pleasant places to live. Tall aqueducts, public fountains, and sewers buried underground guarantee order, prosperity, cleanliness, and health for the population. The provincial capital, Tarraco, boasts all these modern conveniences as befits the great urbs it has become. Even the Barquino colony itself, in a more modest fashion, and the towns of Baetulo and Iluro are fine examples of the kind of place I am describing. But not all is work in the city. The circus, the theatre, and public and private celebrations fill the leisure time of those who live there. Take the great public baths, places to meet, to be entertained, centres for health, for sport, culture, and business. Money also changes hands as bets are made on chariot races at the circus or on games of dice. It's a passion that rarely makes a man rich, but it has ruined more than a few. But let us return to the subject of work. The wealth of this estate, like that of so many others, comes from the wheat fields, olive groves, and vines that supply our tables with the three sacred foodstuffs: bread, olives, and wine. The golden olive oil that glistens on our bread and the sunlight that sparkles in the wine are the fruits of this prosperity. And most of all, we must thank the gods that, as well as eating and drinking our own produce, we can sell great quantities of wine to Caesar's legions, always thirsty for victory. Although it is also true that we reserve the finest wines for our best customers, our friends and our neighbors. So it is wine, as I have said, that is the source both of the prosperity of my master's estate and my own good fortune. Through the cultivation of the vine, I came to be the foreman of a large group of slaves and mastered the art of transforming the humble grape into the nectar of the gods. We would then decant the wine into amphorae and earthenware jars, which once stopped up and marked with our seal, would be carried over land and sea to the furthest corners of the empire. My dependability and the skill I had shown for so many years earned me the trust of my master, to the point that he agreed to release me from the bonds of slavery, as I told you at the beginning. This enabled me not only to marry my wife, Aquilia Arethusa, and start my own family, but also opened the doors to the highest orders in society that any man could aspire to, both for me and for my descendants. One day, my sons and grandsons might even reach the rank of magistrate.
Vinum bonum laetificat cor hominis.
Which is to say, good wine cheers men's hearts. I drink then to this wine that, taken in moderation, cheers our soul, inspires pleasant thoughts, and helps us find the right words to express them. And this is what I have tried to do. To choose the words that will help you understand my life and my soul, so closely tied to this ancient land that nourishes and protects us. A life that I have striven to fill with the virtues that every good Roman must aspire to. Virtues which, if you will pardon my presumption, are neither few nor insignificant. I wish to speak then of industry and dedication in one's work, of pious respect for the gods of the state and of love for one's family, of steadfastness in honoring one's obligations to others, of the ability to exercise control over one's passions and impulses, of deliberation and the rational weighing up of the facts, of knowledge grounded in one's experience of life, of the application of common sense in all one's actions, of the refusal to take advantage of any circumstance that would allow one to abuse those weaker than oneself, of the compassion and mercy that distinguish the civilized man from the barbarian. No doubt, as the years and the centuries go by, the words that describe these virtues will change. But I am convinced that these same virtues must endure forever if we are to live as human beings. And in the same way, it will be necessary to pass on the art of making good wine from one generation to the next. And I am sure that the generations that will come after me will make great wines in this land.